So I gotta tell you how this happened. So last year, I got the flu, and you always hear those statistics where so many people get complications from the flu, and so many people end up dying from the flu and things like that. And you're like, where did that happen? Not in my country. But it happens, and to all of a sudden realize that you're one of those statistics is kind of a freaky thing, actually. But anyway, that's basically how it started. It was the flu. I was in the hospital. Well, I went into the ER a couple times. I went to my doctor a couple times. They kept sending me home. And they kept saying, "Do you have a rash?" And like I had this kind of like flushing across my chest, like I got a sunburn or something. And so I was like, I don't know. You're the doctor. You tell me. So so what happened was I finally went into the ER twice on the same day, and some sort of like protocol kicks in when you do that, and they just admit you. They don't like whatever's going on, whether they think it's serious or not. They just admit you. If you've been there twice in one day, then they're gonna put you in. Well, that was like lucky for me because I was like, I think the last thing I remember is sitting in the waiting room and waiting for them to tell me that there was a bed available. I think I have a few flashes of what happened after that, but apparently they did find a bed for me, and they brought me to the bed, and things were okay at first. And then at some point I went into respiratory distress, and my throat closed up, and they couldn't intubate me. They tried several times, and I have this weird hallucination like memory that I'm not sure is real or not, where I felt like I remember being on this cold flat steel like table or something, I don't know, and them trying to put something down my throat, and it felt just like the sensation of it felt like I was being struck by lightning. That like I remember that clearly, feeling like I was being struck by lightning. I felt like my whole back would arch. They did it like 2-3 times or something like that in my memory. Now that might not be real. It might be kind of a little bit colored by my experience. I don't know, because I don't really remember anything clearly. But then because that didn't work, they had to give me a tracheotomy, and you can kind of see that's the trach scar there. This is just some abrasion from the tube that was in there for like 20 days or so. They gave me the tracheotomy, and my lungs were filling with, or my chest cavity was filling with fluid, and so my lungs were failing, and my heart was failing, and all this stuff. And apparently what I actually had, as well as the flu, I guess, I had a strep infection of some kind, which they never found the source of. But one of the things that I went into the hospital with when I kept going in was I felt like I had the worst sore throat of my entire life. So, but apparently you can't get a strep infection of this nature from strep throat. So it's like usually some kind of wound on the skin, or I don't know. They never found anything. But that's what my experience was. I had the worst sore throat of my whole life. And I got epiglottitis. So that's when my throat closed up, which is really rare for an adult. And it was all because the strep bacteria in my bloodstream built up until it was a toxic level. And so I had toxic shock. And they had one of the more common reasons for women to get toxic shock is from a staph infection, which is actually from a tampon. If there's any guys watching, you're grossed out by now. Sorry. Anyway, and so the first thing they did, apparently, according to my husband, because I don't remember this, while I was unconscious, is give me a gynecological exam when I went into the hospital for a sore throat. I mean, come on, guys. I had a sore throat. This is about as far away from the other one. Anyway. So, and Anyway, so then I was unconscious for like 10 days. They were keeping me unconscious. So it was like I wasn't in a coma per se, but I was in a coma, but it was like they were like pumping me full of fentanyl and keeping me unconscious that way or something. At one point, the doctors were telling my mom that she couldn't even touch me because any kind of stimulation could kill me. They gave me 50-50 odds, but I think that they were like kind of like padding that a bit to make my family feel better, because when I actually did recover and I was walking around and like learning how to walk again and stuff like that, the doctors and nurses and even like the cleaning staff who were cleaning my room looked at me like they seen a ghost. Like they did not expect me to be up and walking ever again. Anyway, it was a long time. And even now, like when I go see doctors and they get the records, like if I have the records sent over to my doctor and I tell them, oh yeah, well I was in the hospital, it was really quite severe. They go, oh yeah, sure it was, kind of thing. And then they read the records and then they come back and they go, oh my God, you weren't kidding. You were really quite ill. So you know it's bad when you get that kind of reaction. Anyway, so yeah, so I was really bad, like badly ill from the flu and strep and toxic shock, which by the way, that rash, oh, here's my cat saying hello. Say hi, Beans. Hi, Beans. When you get a rash that's kind of like a sunburn, like I got it kind of like right across the upper part of my chest. It's not bumpy, it's not itchy, it's just like your skin is flushed. That means that you may have toxic shock. So if you also have a fever of 103, which I did, and the worst sore throat of your life, I don't know what, and you're feeling awful, like I felt like I was going to die. Like I actually literally, the last email I sent before that, I was sending it to my writing group saying, hey guys, I can't come this week because I'm dying. And I wasn't actually dying at that point. Well, I mean, I wasn't in the hospital dying at that point, but it felt like I was dying, like I had the flu. I was sick so bad. We say that all the time. Oh my God, I have the worst flu. I'm dying. That, by the way, I will never ever be able to say, oh my God, I have the worst flu ever again, because I have had the worst flu, and if I have a worser flu, then I'm not going to be around to say anything about it. So yes, this is me introducing my series of videos that I'm going to be doing during my speech therapy. And the reason I am doing speech therapy is because of the whole thing led to this tracheotomy, which has caused me issues, and I'm going to explain a few of those issues in the videos coming up, because a couple of them are just after I come out of my ENT appointments and stuff like that. So I won't get into all that right now. But yeah, all started with flu, and then it became a tracheotomy, and then here I am. I survived. I'm actually strong and able to walk again, which, I mean, apparently there's something called ICU myopathy, which when you're in the ICU, as long as I was basically in the hospital for like 2 months. I was in the ICU for about 20 days and unconscious for 10 of those days. And my whole body just wasted away. My hands were like claws. I could barely use them because I couldn't speak. I was trying to write, but even writing was pretty hard. So I've come back from a lot of that. I'm still kind of recovering a little bit physically, and now also I'm starting to do these speech therapy sessions to recover my voice, because my voice isn't exactly the same. If you look at, like, there's a couple other videos from before my illness, which was just in January of 2015. So if you look at any of the videos before that, you'll see me with my voice before pre-trach. So yeah, okay, this video is getting really long, so I'm gonna say goodbye, and you can watch the rest of the videos. See ya.